So these are all parts of the brake slack adjusters, including some left-handed nuts here, which go on. You have a left hand and a right hand. See how the threads go in opposite directions? And so that when you turn this, one way will pull the two ends closer, turn it the other way, and it'll push them apart, depending on whether you want to loosen or tighten the brakes. And one of the pieces of hardware, I'm kind of a stickler for this. Most of the fastenings on 100 were square-headed, including these lag screws. And we want to return the car so that when you go underneath it and you look at it, you don't see a modern hex head, six-sided, that you would find that you could get at your local hardware store. These are only made in limited quantities, so what we did is we saved the old ones. Some of them are kind of tough looking, but I think they're adequate because they were pretty well rusted. And if we may repair the head or just put it back in if it's not supporting anything really critical. So these are all miscellaneous castings, parts for the bolster, pins for the brakes. I'm not sure we'll use this one again. The person that sandblasted it just did everything I told him. Maybe. And these are slide plates for a bolster. What else have we got here? This is the air intake for the air compressor. It's filled with horsehair, and then there's a screen over here to keep it from pulling out. So the air goes in here and goes into the air compressor. If you don't have a screen here, it's going to suck in dirt and so forth, and that will introduce grit to the piston rings and wear the thing out. So apparently this had a hard time at some point during its life, because this, or else they made it, adapted it to a different location, because the compressor that is in 100 is not the original, and they probably took one from somewhere else, maybe some other car, or they bought it secondhand or whatever, and they brazed this on for a different configuration. This is a sander. On the car there'll be a sort of a hopper here, and the sand will pour down in here, but there's a little baffle right here that keeps it from just falling down and going right out. When you blow air through here, it pushes the sand up and over, and it falls out and goes down through this steel hose, which we painted and it's kind of stuck, and that'll go on the track. And that's used for when the weather is damp, on a damp morning, or in the fall there are leaves on the track, and that sand provides just enough grit so the locomotive can get traction. This is a step bolt, which is quite often used in trolley construction. If you have a wooden post up here, it's hard to fasten to the end if it goes into a tenon on if it has a tenon, I'm sorry, that goes into a piece of wood here. So what you do is you cut a little mortise for this in the side of the post, put this in, bolt it to it, and then this will go down to the bottom of whatever piece of wood is going this direction, and it's pulled up with this bolt. Now this, we'll probably weld a new bolt on here, but this is original, formed on a